name is Masih Alinejad. I'm an Iranian journalist, activist, and a troublemaker for the oppressors.
When Masih Alinejad first heard the news of the attack on author Salman Rushdie, she had more reason than most to be concerned. An Iranian-born journalist and women's rights activist, she too has been hunted by the Iranian regime.
You can see my picture in Friday prayer everywhere being hanged. So basically, yes, I can go back, but definitely I'll be executed. My window is my social media. The mullahs are watching me and watching millions of women like me who are talking to them and telling them that we're not going to obey the barbaric laws of the Islamic Republic.
And police say has been arrested near the Brooklyn home of an Iranian-American journalist. Police say he was heavily armed. Journalist and activist Masih Alinejad posted the video to Twitter yesterday saying the man was at her home to kill her. She was targeted in an alleged kidnapping plot last year after speaking out against the Iranian regime.
Described by the New York Times as the woman whose hair frightens Iran, she founded a campaign against the compulsory hijab, which became the largest civil disobedience campaign in the country's history.
Hijab is the most visible symbol of oppression against women. Of course, some women want to wear it, which is beautiful if it's your own choice.
Some women protesting against religious edicts by cutting their hair in public and burning their hijab, all in reaction to the death of a 22-year-old Mahsa Amini who died in custody of the religious police.
Mothers, fathers, they relate to her story. They say that it could have happened to their daughters, and they are right.
She remains now a leader of the revolt against the Iranian dictatorship that has led to widespread protests over the death of Mahsa Amini, who was arrested by the morality police because they said her hijab did not cover every hair on her head.
If you don't cover yourself, you receive lashes. You go to jail. You won't be able to get a job. You won't be able to exist, to live in your own country. Enough is enough. We want an end to this regime.
Women have been pushing back compulsory hijab laws and all the anti-women laws in Iran. But this is the time that the movement gaining momentum. This is the women revolution. They are the warriors in the middle of the street, pushing back Taliban, pushing back the Islamic Republic. These are the true feminists. These are the true Rosa Parks of Iran and Afghanistan. These are the women of suffragists, risking their lives, facing guns and bullets. A woman from Afghanistan, from Kabul, sent me a video to show her solidarity. I told her, shall I blur your face? You know what was her response? She said, don't. This is what the Taliban is doing to us. This is what the Islamic Republic is doing to us. They want to make us invisible. And we are in the streets of Iran and Afghanistan together to take our visibility back. Don't blur my face.
This compulsory hijab is like the Berlin Wall. Now, we're tearing this wall down and the Islamic Republic won't exist. This is the end of It's not about me. It's about Iranian brave women within the society, and all I do, I just give them a voice.
Your voice is a threat to the autocracy.
My voice is more powerful than their weapon. They following me. I have only one message for them. Can I use your camera and talk to them? Please. Go ahead. Which camera? I know that they're listening to me.
This one.
I want to tell you, go to hell. I'm not scared of you. I have only one life. You can kill me, but you cannot kill the idea. The idea is just fighting for freedom and dignity.
Did you really take that serious? I'm not scared. I'm fucking scared of the killers. That's the truth. 2 years ago, the Iranian regime killed a young woman, Mahsa Amini, for the crime of just showing a little bit of her hair, not covering her hair appropriately. But 2 months earlier, as you saw, the same regime hired a gangster and sent him to New York. In front door of my house in Brooklyn, I saw him with loaded gun, AK-47, planning to kill me. Of course, this is scary. This is scary that the Iranian regime can challenge the US authority on US soil. But because we, the women of Iran, know the ideology behind the assassination plot, killing, torturing women, is to put the fear inside us, so we try to overcome our fear. You might say, why? Because in my country, Iran, freedom of speech is not just about books, and censorship is not just about limiting words, arts, film, cinema, articles. No. It includes erasing the entire society if they challenge Sharia laws in Iran. Because they hate those who say no to Islamic ideology. Because they hate you, all of you, especially women. How many women are here? Hands up. You are all like master criminals in the eyes of the Islamic Republic. You're all now sitting together, all of you, men and women, shoulder to shoulder. And before coming here, you all used mirror to make yourself the one that you want to be. No? But the Iranian regime made sure that every single morning, people want to go out, they have to make themselves, using the mirror, to choose the lifestyle that imposed on us by the regime. So that's why they want to get rid of any of those who dare to choose their own lifestyle. So we are here in Nashville, which is my first time being here in this beautiful city, to celebrate freedom of speech. But in my country, people are paying a huge price for fighting to gain the same freedom of speech that we take it for granted here. It feels deeply ironic for me to share the stage with Salman Rushdie, a man who has been the target of an assassination attempt, who actually, the government from my country issued fatwa against his head. You all see him, that he was yesterday on the same stage, was like a symbol of a man fighting for freedom of speech with one eye. And I was only 12 years old when, as you said, Ayatollah Khomeini, as we, the people of Iran, say, the dictator of the Islamic Republic, issued the fatwa against Salman Rushdie, alongside millions of children, alongside millions of 12-year-old students, schoolgirls. I was told, I was brainwashed to call Salman Rushdie a Satan. And guess what? After years, now the same regime that targeted Salman Rushdie called me a Satan too. Yes, I want to actually show you an absurd video. That's me, in the streets of Tehran. The video made by the Islamic Republic to mock me, to brainwash now the new generation against me and calling me a Satan. But I am here to tell you that this propaganda tool is not only cannot silence us, it actually determined people like me. I'm here to tell you that now Iran is full of Satan. The new generation paying a huge price, being intentionally blinded by the Islamic Republic. So Salman Rushdie is not alone. Now you can see that women who joined the uprising in Iran to fight against the brutal regime being intentionally blinded. These women lost their eyesight. These women were shot by the morality police, by the security forces, for the crime of just chanting, woman, life, freedom. That's the slogan of women. And their brothers joined them, Iranian men, to support these sisters. Because for years and years, the Iranian regime used men against us to tell men, the brothers and fathers and old men, that you own your sister. And if your sisters do not follow Sharia laws, you can kill them in the name of honor. So, but these men, they joined their sisters to support them. What happened, the Iranian regime blinded them. So they are like the living proof of the brutality of regime, not only target its own people who are fighting for freedom of speech, but also target their opponents or those who dare to challenge Islamic ideology beyond their borders, like Salman Rushdie. So I'm here to ask you that would you actually risk your lives to fight for freedom of speech? You might say no, but I want to thank you for sharing the same platform here with me and Salman Rushdie, because we are sharing the bullets with you. That's the fact, and thank you so much. I mean, I'm really thankful because here I'm going to actually explain that how censorship and fighting freedom of speech, targeting freedom of speech is not just something going to stay in Iran. But at the same time, I want to thank you for not canceling us. There are many organizations, many people in the West, they're scared of sharing their platform with those who are being the target of authoritarian regimes. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Vanderbilt, for giving me the opportunity to talk about how we must be united and show our solidarity with those of who actually risking their lives to protect freedom of speech. So a lot of people think that I'm brave, or these women and men who lost their eyesight, they're brave. They don't have any fear of being shot by the morality police or security forces. So I want to tell you about my story and my childhood, that how we learn to fight against darkness, to fight against our fear, to overcome our fear. I come from a very, very tiny village. I grew up in a very traditional family and very poor family. We didn't have running water in our house, in the village. We didn't have electricity in our house. And I remember that as a little girl, I was really, really scared of darkness. So during the night, we had to use the outhouse because we didn't have inside bathroom. And I remember that my mom was telling me that don't beg your brother or your father or anyone to help you. Monster is like darkness is like a monster. Darkness can swallow you all if you're scared of the darkness. But instead of being scared of the darkness, if you open your eyes as wide as you can and stare into the darkness, then the darkness will get disappeared. So as a kid, I thought that was a fact. And I used to go to the outhouse, opening my eyes as wide as I could. But believe me, that worked. So growing up in the Middle East, we, especially the women, we face a lot of darkness. And that's how I learned to fight back the darkness instead of getting scared of the darkness. So I got expelled from Iranian high school for the crime of asking questions. And that was one of the dark times in my life because I didn't do anything wrong. As a teenager, I just challenged the existence of God, like teenagers everywhere. Yes, I know you challenge the existence of God, and I love your curly hair as well. That was a crime for me to have a curly hair like this. So that got me into trouble, just asking a simple question. My teacher actually told me that, you're a village girl, have you ever been in America? I said, no. And then she said, have you ever been in England? No. So maybe God exists and lived somewhere in America, in England, and somewhere. Here we are. I'm here in America. And I'm still challenging religion, but I have the same freedom that you all have to challenge religion, to challenge authority, to challenge everything. But in my country, the cost of challenging the existence of God is execution. You get killed. So I got kicked out from high school. I decided to be a parliamentary journalist. So I just asked so many questions about politicians. And as you see, I have a loud voice. Very simple questions. I put myself into trouble again. Very, very simple question. Women are banned from singing solo. Can you believe that? So I was asking the politicians, why? Why singing solo is banned for us? For instance, I asked the former president, have you ever heard of a woman singing? He said, yes, I heard a woman citing Quran. I said, no, I mean a real singing, like Beyonce. Like, we have so many Celine Dion in Iran. We have so many well-known singers who all were forced to leave Iran. And I said, have you ever heard of them? He said, no. And he started to explain the logic behind the fatwa that banned women from singing. And I'm going to actually tell you, the fatwa says that my voice, women's voice, can get men excited and men get aroused. And I said to the former president of the Islamic Republic, okay, let me try. I want to sing and see. Agar Khuda Khuda mara begiryani mana semanat ra begham begiryanam. How many of you got aroused here? Yeah. I know you are laughing. I know we're all laughing against the absurd and ridiculous fatwa that ban women from singing. But that's the reality in Iran. We cannot even question about it. Right now that I'm talking to you, women's voice being erased from everywhere. And Zara Ismaili, a young woman, is in prison for the crime of singing one of the well-known songs of Lady Gaga. This is a crime in Iran. So as you know, because of my loud voice and asking too much question, I got kicked out from my homeland at the end, from Iran. Not just a high school, not from a parliament. I was a parliamentary journalist. I exposed the corruption, and I got kicked out from parliament. And at the end, from my beautiful homeland, Iran. But that didn't make me to go in my isolation behind the curtain and keep silent at all. It's not in my DNA to keep silent. So in 2014, I decided to use my social media and created a campaign against compulsory veiling. For many of you, you might say that it's just a small piece of cloth. It's not a big deal. But for millions of us Iranian women, women in Afghanistan, when it is forced, compulsory veiling, it's the main pillar of a religious dictatorship. This is the most visible symbol of oppression when it's in the hand of Islamic Republic, ISIS, and Taliban. So in 2014, I created a campaign called My Stealthy Freedom and White Wednesdays, where women were going in public, waving the white headscarf, and showing their civil disobedience against compulsory veiling, which is a punishable crime. So I received a lot of backlash. First, the Iranian regime arrested 29 women of my campaign only in one day. Not only to silence them, but to put the guilt on my shoulder. And I felt the burden that I was going to shut down the campaign. But immediately, when the Iranian regime brought women on TV to denounce me and my campaign publicly, their mothers joined them. It was so beautiful to watch the mothers saying that you arrested our daughters. From now on, we are the voice of our daughters. We are saying no to compulsory veiling. So that actually gave me a lesson that I should not give up my fight. So that's why they went after my family members. I was watching my own sister denouncing me publicly on TV. And I even remember the day when I was watching my sister 17 minutes on TV. I mean, I barely get 5 minutes on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. 17 minutes watching my sister denouncing me, cursing me, disowning me publicly. And my husband was like, stop watching. You're watching your sister and crying, so what's the point of watching this? I was like, I haven't seen my sister for 10 years, and this is the first time I see my sister in a good quality. Trying to be positive. But that's the mindset of the regime. Dividing family, putting family against family to survive, to fight against powerful women. I was watching my heroes on TV with bruise on their face, begging for pardon in public and denouncing the campaign. But behind the scene, we knew that they are the leaders of true change in Iran. None of them stopped me. They interrogated my mother for 2 hours to stop her from sharing her love with me. They put my brother in prison for 2 years for the crime of just being my brother. None of them stopped me. So then they started to criminalize sending video to Masih Alinejad. Sending videos. So be careful. Don't send me any video. If you make video here, don't send it to me. It's a crime in Iran. The head of the Revolutionary Court came on TV and said that if anyone sent videos to Masih Alinejad will be charged up to 10 years prison. That didn't stop women. Why? Because it's not about me. It's about millions of women who have agency. That's the Iranian regime, that they think that I am the agent of CIA, Masih is the agent of MI6, the agent of Mossad, and they think that one woman can work with different agencies at the same time. We have agency. And now I want to tell you that all these censorship that I faced didn't stay there. Here, miles away from Iran, when I was talking about the campaign that Iranian women launched against Sharia laws, in the West, people, some of the well-known female politicians, some of the well-known analysts, activists, leaders, feminists that used to be my heroes were telling me that, shh, you're causing Islamophobia. I was like, wait a minute. Talking about the brutality of the regime that lashing people, executing people for challenging Islamic ideology, raping women in prison, you think that sharing this story is calling Islamophobia? Phobia is an irrational fear. But my fear and the fear of millions of Iranian women in the hand of morality police is rational. Of course we're scared of Taliban. Of course we're scared of Islamic Republic. They didn't stop there. During Trump administration, I was told by many of journalists and my own colleagues that used to be my mentor that talking about compulsory hijab campaign, challenging the Islamic Republic, might put you in the Trump administration's narrative. You might jeopardize the nuclear talk. I was like, wow. So you want me to keep quiet because Trump administration might take advantage of that? To be honest, I don't care who is in power in America, Trump, Biden, Obama. What I care, I don't want Taliban and Islamic Republic that rape women and expand their ideology everywhere and target dissidents beyond their own border with transnational repression should not be in power. And they were educating me, an Iranian woman, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Narges Mohammadi, is in prison for challenging Islamic Republic. But the West were actually lecturing us that hijab is part of the culture of Muslim women. Calling a barbaric law, a discriminatory law, part of the culture of Iranians is an insult to a nation. I know you see my anger, This is the anger of millions of girls and women who are being abandoned, women of Afghanistan, women of Iran, right now. Because I see that the campus and college protests, and it gives me hope that the new generation are taking actions. But the hypocrisy and double standards behind that breaks my heart. Because I believe that when it comes to defending women who face rape, we all should be together. When it comes to defend freedom of speech, we all should be together. I myself, I condemn Muslim ban. I condemn Burkini ban. And I strongly believe that those who actually hesitate to condemn women ban, which I call it, they should question themselves. Because half of the population, half of the global population now are being banned from entering Iran. So if we all condemn Muslim ban in America, rightfully we supported our Muslim sisters, Muslim brothers, but then why the same female politicians go to Iran and they wear hijab, or in front of Taliban in the West, they bow to the Taliban and they wear hijab? Why? That's something that I believe freedom of speech, freedom of expression is at risk, even on Western soil. A lot of time when I go to different platform and different stage, I got scared if I talk about this, maybe people lose their hope and say that, you know, this is difficult. Believe me, it's not difficult. I want to end my story because I know I have 5 minutes. There are people telling me your time is over. So I want to tell a personal story to tell you that this is not difficult, to hold our hands and be united when it comes to protect freedom of speech. You know, when I first came in America, so my plan was to interview President Obama. I got invited by Obama's administration, and I was so excited. I came to America to interview him. But when I came here, the Green Movement happened. So the Iranian regime shut down the newspaper that I worked for. They killed more than 100 people. So Obama's administration got cold feet that if we give you an interview, then we might send a signal to Islamic Republic that American government support the Green Movement. There's nothing wrong about this if you support a peaceful movement. But they didn't want to get involved. So I didn't get Obama, as it's now clear, but instead I got my husband. Yes. The best deal an Iranian can get from Americans. But when I moved to America, I asked my husband, do you know your neighbors? And he was like, what is the point of knowing neighbor? Why should I know the neighbors? I was like, wow, I'm coming from a village. I mean, if we need tomato, potatoes, we need eggs, we knock the door, we go to neighbors. And he was like, no, this is not gonna work here. He came back from his work, and I said, I know the neighbors. They are amazing people. One of them had the sign of supporting Trump. The other one, Bernie Sanders. I remember I didn't know who Bernie Sanders was. I Googled him to find out who he was. So I saw different signs in my neighbor's front garden. And I said to my husband that it was easy. I went there, I knocked the door, and I said to any of them that I want to have a glass of wine with you. And my husband was like, did you offer them a bottle of wine? I said, no. When they opened the door, they had a lot of wines. So, and I found out this is how I can make my neighbors, like my family members, that I was forced to leave them. So next time I knocked the door and I offered them basil, tomatoes, cucumbers, that I grow them in my garden in Brooklyn. So I used to make pickles out of the cucumbers that I grow in my garden and offer pickles to my neighbors. They didn't know who I am. But when the guy got arrested in front of my house, when the kidnapping plot was stopped by the FBI, when my brother got arrested by the regime, so it was everywhere on the media, Fox News, CNN, everywhere. So that time, it was my neighbor, every single of them, knocking the door and offering me a place to hide, offering me wine, offering me food, love, family. And that's the beauty of America. when it comes to the national security, when it comes to the safety of their fellow citizens, they were all united. Doesn't matter, they were Trump supporters, Bernie Sanders supporters. When it comes to protect America, they were all united. And I showed that to my husband. My husband said, this is because of your pickle diplomacy. So, yes, pickle diplomacy works. America should learn about this diplomacy because you take freedom for granted. And I want to end it here. I was going everywhere on Fox News and CNN talking about how women facing rape in my country. In New York, I was walking and people were praising me, giving me love, and I was very, very appreciative of the amount of love that I received from Americans. But one day, one American citizen stopped me and said to me that, you know what, we love you, we support you, but can you stop going to Fox News? They're miserable, stop going there. Only next block, one block took time that another American stopped me and said that we are with you, we support feminist movement, but please don't go to CNN. They're not with you, they're using you. I was like, wow. Guys, having Fox News and CNN is the beauty of America. If you're coming from a country like Iran, North Korea, Russia, that you have only one state-controlled television and you only see people repeating the narrative of the government, or you only see your family members and your heroes doing false confession in order to survive the brutality of the regime. I know you hate, some of you, Fox News. I know some of you hate CNN, but that is called freedom of speech. What you want? You want to cancel Fox News and just sit every single day and listen to CNN? Or you want to cancel CNN and just listen to Fox News? You have it. North Korea, Islamic Republic. So join us, because dictators from Russia to China to Venezuela to Africa to many countries, to Iran, and their proxies are united. And believe me, if we don't get united to fight against dictators, the alliance between authoritarian regimes, they will get united and they will end all of us. They will end democracy. They will end freedom of speech. When I came to America, I learned that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But believe me, what happens in the Middle East is not going to stay in the Middle East. The Islamic ideology is deadlier than coronavirus, and they will infect the rest of the world. Join us, be with us, and support us, because we cannot do this on our own. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Woman, life, freedom! Woman, life, freedom! Woman, life, freedom! Thank you.